Good morning. I want to welcome you to our show, Finding Hidden Courage. And we have a very special guest with us this morning. Her name is Rima Aboulhosen. And she is a motivational practitioner and speaker. And she talks about and helps people find the best part of who they are to really activate that core essence and help them live it to their fullest. What a wonderful thing to not only help individuals, but as each individual becomes more connected with who they are, our world becomes a much happier and brighter place. So I wanted to welcome Rima and thank you so much for being here today.
Liz, I'm so grateful for what you're doing, and I'm
Thank you.
extremely grateful for our friendship.
Me too.
I actually was born in Lebanon, as you know, and came here as a child. Excuse me. I was 12 at the time. My parents made the decision to basically uproot us, to bring us to a place that is safer, that we can get an education. My mom was a teacher at one point, so education is really big for her. When we got to the United States, we were really lucky. We have two uncles that live here.
Oh, fabulous, yes.
One of them...
Did they sponsor you?
Yes, one of them that actually sponsored us and basically took us under their wings as we got here. I had like 1 year of English in Lebanon, which basically you could say is almost nothing. 5 kids, 4 girls, 1 boy.
So big family.
Yes, and my parents did not miss a beat. They worked hard, but they made sure that the house was filled with love, connection. On Sundays, they would make sure that we always got together with my uncles and their kids, lots of cousins. For me, my sister, who's a few years older than me, basically took me under her wing and became my mentor, even though I didn't know those words back then. Well, fast forward a few years, she's gotten married, had kids, I got married, all of us kind of became our lives, but we stayed very close. Well, a few years back, she got diagnosed with cancer. It started out as breast cancer and metastasized to different parts of the body. So we basically asked her to come and be next to us so she can get her treatment.
Where was she living at that time?
She was
Rima?
overseas at the time, in
Okay.
Dubai, I believe, at that time. So she brought her two daughters, basically, and she started her treatment, and I became basically the caretaker, and I took on this role of being part of her health journey, and would take her to her appointments, would go to all the things that she needed to do, would basically help take the kids to school, and just took on that role.
Where was her husband?
He was overseas, basically, so she was here with us, and he still had to work and was overseas. So I just took on those roles of just being a part of her life. Well, as her treatments got stronger and stronger, you could see that she was having more pains. At one point, we had to put in shunts so that some of the liquids that are in the brain would start to move. And when that happened, basically, we decided to move her from her house to my house so that I can really be there every chance that I get. We had a full life just like everyone else, you know. Time gets filled.
Sure.
But I made sure that I spent time with her, and I was doing, the juggling that we all do. Oh, I got this done, and I got this done. I got her to appointments, took care of the kids, all of these things that you think you're doing extremely well. As her treatments got stronger and stronger, we started to notice that there are some more challenges with her. Well, fast forward about 18 months into her recovery, her oncologist basically called the family for a family meeting. So my parents came in, my brother, my sisters, we all went into the oncologist's office. And I walked in kind of nonchalantly, and I went back, and I've been in her office lots of times, and I leaned back against a credenza, and I'm waiting for her to give us the health report. And I'm just standing there listening, and then she starts talking, and she utters the words that she had a few weeks to live. And literally, I'm staring at the doctor, and I look over to my sister, and it's like, what did she say? Literally, it didn't hit me till she had to repeat it, that she had a few weeks to live for us. So as we left the room, the oncologist basically called me over and said, your sister has always known. She just didn't want you guys to live through this process and to actually be able to enjoy her living. We walked out of the office and I looked at my youngest sister. My brother had already wheeled my sister out. And I can't tell you what a huge change that was, Liz, that moment where you know you have very few moments left with someone. This superpower comes over you, and it was the best that I can say. It was mindfulness, being aware, being fully present. And then I realized when I was sitting with my sister and she'd be staring at me, she was just being completely mindful and paying attention to everything that I'm saying and I'm doing. Well, now the roles were reversed. Now when I would spend time with her and I'd sit at the end of the bed and I'm talking, I'm massaging everything, I'm the one who is attempting to memorize every piece of her that is possible. A part of me was still in that mode, like, is this real? Is this happening?
Was this a bad dream?
Correct.
Was it surreal somehow?
Very much so. And it's hard to describe it, but really the mindfulness of just being present, attempt to just be completely positive, that helped a ton. We heard of someone that had gotten this treatment and they recovered. So this treatment was out here in California. I heard about it. And everyone who is loving, and my family's around, everybody has their own input of what needs to be done. I wanted to just bring those meds. My uncle, who had flew in to see her, other uncles and cousins that had flown in to see her, he said, Rima, if you want to go, I'll drive you. So we drove to California. It took us a few hours, obviously. It helped to just sit there and reminisce as we were growing up and the things. He was doing what I was doing for her, keeping me occupied and up. So we get to this place that I thought you walk in like a pharmacy and grab the meds. No, this is a natural path, so they had to create the meds. It took them a couple of hours to make it. I was on pins and needles on the inside, but on the outside I kept this like, okay, this is what we needed to do. By the time we drove back, we had been gone basically all day long. She was not responsive at all. When we got there, she opened her eyes for just a couple of minutes and acknowledged my uncle, acknowledged me, that we are there. And then my sisters and I just took on this role of basically putting this medicine into her body. So we spent the night in my room, all of us taking shifts, putting as much of the meds into her body. All the way till the next day. By the time it was 10 or 11 o'clock, my older sister, who's very much a scientist, said, okay, we need to stop. This isn't doing anything. As the hours passed, you could tell that she's not doing well. Her breathing would fade in and out, and I'd be going, breathe, breathe, breathe. Well, obviously, as the time passed, she took her last breath. But something within me made me say to everyone, nobody scream, nobody cry, because if she can hear us, I don't want those to be her last. And that was the time that I was still in control, and then I just got in bed with her and hugged her, and then my younger sister took the same, and we were just hugging her, and my brother had to tell us, she's gone, you need to let go, she's gone, you need to let go. And I share this story, Liz, because I want people to be aware, to live the life that you want, to do the things that matter. Although in the time she was with me, I was doing my business and I thought, boy, I'm doing fantastic. I'm juggling it all. When we heard the news that she's not going to be around, that superpower of mindfulness changed everything, Liz. To understand that there's so many things that we put on our agenda every day that really don't matter.
They don't mean anything.
They don't matter.
Right.
The only thing that matters is the people that
to
you
love and to give love and receive love.
Exactly. It took a period of time, Liz, for me to cope with it. And it wasn't an overnight thing to adjust to what you're saying. It took learning, honestly, Liz, for me to start to question within me what matters. what is the meaning of life? And I started basically studying, reading lots of great material that's out there, listening to positive, and slowly you start to shift. Not overnight. You start to shift to go, okay, what does matter? What is important? And I started letting go of things that weren't serving me, thoughts that weren't serving me, people that weren't serving me. And I started gravitating and holding on to thoughts that made my world better. I became so much more grateful for so many things, so many people, little things. I became much more grateful. And I think if I had to put a superpower up there along with mindfulness, would be gratitude.
You know, I've heard, and I've experienced it myself, Rima, that when you're in gratitude, you cannot be in fear. You cannot be in all of the substrates of fear, whether that's anger, jealousy, selfishness, anything that comes from that vein of here's love and here's fear. If I'm in that field of love, which is gratitude, is a part of that, I can't be in any of those negative emotions.
You're entirely correct. And it took the realization to understand that. I've taken a lot of the lessons from being with her and some of the things that have occurred afterwards in my lifetime, just like you said, and really wanting to just be more impactful. So that gratitude journey, that mindfulness, that positivity, and all this learning that I've been doing for lots of years is taking me down this path that how do I impact my life? My parents are now in their 80s. So I get to live with them. I get to enjoy them, but I want to make sure that I'm dedicating as much time to them as well as everything else that I need to do. So that is taking me down this path of looking at everything and wanting to teach that to others. My journey is now speaking, impacting lives, being more of a counselor, even though I'm not a counselor
But
at
you're a
all.
practitioner of all of the teachings and work that you've done thus far. You speak on it, you speak at many different places. I attended one of your workshops and it was fabulous.
Thank you, Liz. That is really my focus. That is my intention for this planet, is how do we elevate the planet? Well, it starts with each and every one of us. You start by looking at your own personal self.
Okay.
Who are you at your core? What are your traits that you love, don't love, that you want to adjust, that you want to work on? What are the experiences you've been through that are still affecting you today with your decisions? And what do you need to do about them? So you start within, look at yourself. And from there you go, okay, I want to be this type of person. I want to do these kind of things in life. And then we take that to the second step of going, what do I do? What does it mean to me? How does it affect me? How does it affect what is important to me? And we start living from that, putting on our schedule and adjusting that way. And you look at it and go, did I do the things that I said I'm going to do? Did I show up? Was I present? And if I continue on doing those things, am I going to be living the life that I want? We're on this planet by whatever created this planet and the choice of us being here. How are we going to live an impactful, happy, fulfilled life?
I am so happy, Rima, that you are here today with us, that you have such a beautiful story that you shared, but more than anything else, knowing you and having you as a dear friend that I'm blessed with. Is there anything else that you want to share with our audience today before we end our talk? Anything that comes to mind?
Yes, we are a planet of one.
Ooh.
We are one humanity, one race. We're a planet of one. You are the planet of one. And what you bring out there makes this planet. We're all connected. And I'm taking to that simple level for people to live in the gratitude, to appreciate everyone's journey of where they are. Meet them where they are. Treat them with love. Treat them with respect. And just know that they are on their own journey. You just happen to have been privileged to be a part of it in a scene of their journey while you're on your own complete journey.
Thank you so much. And again, my dear friend, I hope your journey is the greatest. Thank you, Rima.
Thank you so much, Liz. I love you.
I love you too.